Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking. As always, I want to say thank you all who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal, or Super Thanks. I really appreciate it. Now today we will start with Bakhmut and move ourselves around. This is going to be basically a 4 days recap because I've missed some of the days, so let's start with Bakhmut first. About a few days after fall of Bakhmut, there were news coming in that Russians were able to retake some of the positions that they had previously lost north of Kromove. As a result of fierce battles, Russians were able to retake about this much territory. So as you can see, they were able to capture a tree line and also this opening here. Also, they were able to capture this portion of the rail line. And if you remember a few months back, that's exactly how they were successful here on this flank. They advanced along the rail lines as they provided cover and attacked from the flanks then on. Again, fighting here continues and it is very fierce as Ukrainians are trying to prevent Russians to regain foothold in this sector. But as you can see, Russians already had achieved some success here. Then Russians were able to capture some territories in front of Bakhmut, in between Ivanivsky and Bakhmut city itself, or Artyomovsk. I'm not sure whether it is officially Artyomovsk now. I guess I'll wait for official information. So as a result of fighting here in the last 4 days, Russians were able to capture about this much territory. As you can see, in order to secure their newly gains, they need to attack and capture this forest line. If that were to happen, Ukrainians would lose a very good defensive position right in front of Bakhmut and would be forced to retreat back to another forest line, leaving Russians more kilometers of land. While this is happening, Russians still storm Ivanivsky. They are heavily shelling it, destroying Ukrainian troops within it. So here, fierce fighting also continues. Then we have situation around Klishevka, where once again, as a result of a storming operations, Russians were able to capture about this much territory. As you can see, they have recovered their initially lost positions here around Klishevka. And as of right now, Klishevka is saved. This makes a lot of sense. As you can see, Ukrainians did develop initial bridgehead here, but were too exposed to Russian flanking attacks and were forced to retreat. As of right now, Russians continue to storm Ukrainian positions here in this forest lines and in this hill area right here and forested area. Result of those storming operations is unclear. However, Russians are reporting that they were unable to advance further than those territories that they had already captured. Overall, we can see that throughout the last 4 days, Russians did not lose any territory on the flanks. In fact, actually acquired previously lost territories. Of course, Ukrainians are trying to answer Russians with their own counterattacks. Here from overall direction of Stupachki, they are attacking over this canal. However, as you can see, Russians hold a tree line right in front of it, so nothing is coming out of it as of right now. A lot of back and forth shooting over this canal, but overall Russians are holding their flanks here. While we still in Bakhmut, it is also important to know that there was a prisoner exchange here on this road, and it was some time ago, and basically I decided to tell you about this situation is because, well, this is Wagner's and Prigozhin personally last action here in Bakhmut. After that, they completely withdrew from the city, leaving those positions to the official Russian army. From what I know, they will be retreating somewhere in the rear. They will not be leaving Ukraine, as far as I know, but they would be retreating somewhere back in the rear where they have built camps. They will take rest there, recruit more troops, train them, and resume their operations here within Ukraine. Now, as to where they're going to fight next is unclear. As you can see, the situation in Bakhmut still needs some work. Despite fierce Ukrainian resistance and massive counterattacks, Russians still hold a bridgehead here in Bakhmut. As you can see, Ukrainian positions within this pocket is not great. At least 3 settlements or 4 settlements are within this pocket, is Bogdanivka, Kalinivka, Ivanivske. Khramova is about to fall, so I wouldn't count it, and Minikivka here. So overall, Ukrainian positions to the east of this canal is somewhat difficult, as Russians continuously harass Ukrainian defensive lines, and again, as you could see, taking back some land. There's also interesting situation that is developing here in Spirne. Fighting here continues for a long time. A few months ago, maybe a month ago, Russians were able to capture this, if I'm not mistaken, a gas station, and since then they were attacking in the general direction of Spirne. As you can see, the settlement isn't big, but its good natural defensive positions are very hard to penetrate. But as a result of a fierce fighting, Russians were able to capture about this much territory. So advancing more and more towards Spirne. As you can see, they are also attempting to flank the settlement. So of course fighting of that matter continues here in Spirne as well. Then while we're here, we should tackle situation in Bilogorivka. Here in Bilogorivka, situation remains somewhat the same, as Russians are attacking to the flanks of the settlement here through marshlands of Serbiansky Forest and here on the hill in attempt to encircle Bilogorivka. Also, they are heavily shelling the settlement and the plant that is located here. And I have a video that is perhaps a few days old of Russians shelling this location here. So from Bilogorivka we go to Avdiivka. Here interesting things have happened. Well, not actually within Avdiivka itself, but here. It has been reported that Russians have destroyed this dam that actually serves as a bridge and the road as well. And I will show you videos of that destroyed dam as well.
Дамбу подорвали, коровка. Все, вода пошла. Прилет был. Проезда нет. Глянь, что делается. Это жесть. Вода пошла. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Надо не давать.
Here is one more. So of course this resulted in a flooding here within this area. It is unclear about the damage done. I'm sure we will receive more and more reports. As you can see, here are some settlements, so perhaps they were flooded. This is a big reservoir and the water levels were very much different. But most important thing is that, as you can see, this is the E50 highway, and this is the only big pavement road that actually leads to Ukrainian positions here in Pervomaisky, Neitalove, and basically with destruction of this bridge, Russians had paralyzed Ukrainian supply and rotation system. I assume after this, Russians will resume their attacks towards Pervomaisky and Nevelsky. They have been trying to advance here at least slightly within the last week, unsuccessfully. So perhaps this was an attempt to break that chain of unsuccesses and finally advance further towards Pervomaisky. Then we have interesting situation in Kherson Oblast. It is reported that Ukrainians, well, at first Ukrainians are still attempting to land here within those islands and establish bridgeheads for their, I guess, upcoming offensive here in this region. And of course that gets them exposed to Russian artillery, and they heavily shell them on these islands, and I have video of that for you. Now I want to say quickly that if you're experiencing problems with this video, if for some reason the footage that I'm showing you is not showing on you for some reason, this could be due to a censorship by YouTube in your respective regions. And you can join my Rambo channel. The link to it will be in the description below, where it would seem that there are no censorship of that manner. Everything's working fine. So now we're not leaving this overall region as of yet. First of all, we have situation in Kherson. There are reported that Ukrainians had conducted a massive strikes all around Zaporozhye, striking these settlements that are very close to the possible front line. They are using HIMARS and Storm Shadow missiles. I am sure that this is a sign of a upcoming offensive. Maybe they are trying to make Russians nervous, perhaps actually make them believe that this is where their main offensive will take place, and again attack somewhere else. So with that, I end today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please consider supporting it with a like, comment, and a subscription. Also, don't forget to ring that notification bell and share this video as well, as it helps to promote this video to more and more people. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day, and always remember, Russia will be free and great.